I'm in Chongqing, and I'm here with iChongqing as well as I've got the lovely introduce yourself.
Yep. Hi, everyone. This is Vivian from iChongqing. So I'm a reporter here with a specializing focus on political and economic news. And here we actually bring our other team member to join this live stream. And we have a lot of things to share with you guys about this big fair going on here in Xiamen, all about investment and trade opportunities. And just give us like a brief introduction about what we're doing. So we cover different news, different content from, say, Chongqing people's daily lives to Chongqing's foreign trade, or even like Chongqing's opening up channels, all kinds of things. And we cover also like big events like 2 sessions in Smart China Expo, which was just passed several weeks ago. We also cover things like the Western China International Fair and Investment, which was happening in June. So for those of people who have keep tuning us for some of the great content, thanks a lot for all your support. And today we will bring a lot of cool information to you guys. Back to you, Alex.
I just want to say hi to some of our viewers here. Hi, Ken. Thank you for joining. And as we are streaming in many locations today, like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and various other outlets, I think we're getting our WeChat working here soon. But I want to welcome the audience today. Today is going to be very interesting, okay? Because not only are we reporting from Chongqing, but we are going to Xiamen, a very, very interesting city on the coast, not too far from Taiwan. And we have someone on location there. Let's bring her into the show now, and she can tell us where she's at. Here she goes. All right, Jan, how are you? How are things in Xiamen?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Alex.
Good to see you.
Vivian. Hello, everyone. Well, this is Jan from iChongqing. So I'm here, greetings from Xiamen. I'm here at Xiamen City, Fujian Province. And I'm here for the 22nd China International Fair for Investment and Trade, also called CIFIT. So today, I'm very happy to connect with you guys. And today I will bring you the latest news about this fair and what new products and highlights will Chongqing bring to the fair this year.
Great. So when did you arrive there?
Well, I just arrived on Monday.
Monday, okay. And
Yes.
just for our viewers, just to give them an idea of where this is located in China, maybe you can give us a little bit of a geography lesson here. Whereabouts are you in China?
Well, I'm now at Xiamen. The city of Xiamen is the capital of Fujian Province. And the CIFIT, just this fair, is held every September every year in the city of Xiamen. And it's worth mentioning that Chongqing serves as the guest of honor city of this year, while the South Korea as the country of honor. So I'm now just at Chongqing Pavilion, and the fair just will officially kick off tomorrow. So today, for our journalists, we can enter in advance to discover the pavilions.
Well, that must be a great invitation to be invited. I always love these styles and these shows that go on. I mean, the 22nd China International Fair and Investment and Trade, that's a lot to say in one sentence. So there must be a lot going on. Maybe either Vivian or Jean, you guys want to maybe describe this fair a little bit more detail for our viewers so they know what they're going to be watching here in the next hour.
Well, I think the CIFIT focuses on the great opening up and international investment cooperation. And so just like in this fair, Chongqing and the other regions of China participated with a series of new products and highlights. And just we have many seminars to attract more enterprises and talents to settle in Chongqing to attract more capital investment gathering in China.
Well, that's so I can imagine a few deals are going to be discussed over the next few days in that location. Wonderful. Vivian, over to you.
So I think this is something like similar to what we have just reported for the WCIFIT, which stands for the Western International China Fair for Investment and Trade. I think it's just like the bigger version. You know, it's not only focusing on the southwestern region, but also focusing on the whole China area. And I'm sure that for Chongqing Pavilion, they will bring some of the really cool like high-tech equipment or something like can represent Chongqing's manufacturing industry to the fair. So because I saw that on the background of Jan, there are some of the autos are going on, which is definitely the business card for Chongqing's manufacturing. So perhaps Jan can give us a little bit more details about like what are some of the enterprises come with this event, and what are some highlights you have seen at this event.
Okay, sure. So now I'm at Chongqing Pavilion, and you can see, well, I will switch the camera, and you can see the general view.
Well, there we go. We're at the event with you.
Yes.
Take us for a walk and tell us what is going on.
Yes,
This looks very interesting.
So we can see the Chongqing Pavilion also mainly divided into two sections. This section is about Chongqing smart manufacturing, and another is the International Consumption Center. So in this center of the pavilion, we can see a series of new products, well, mainly vehicles, just some electric vehicles, new energy vehicles, and motorcycles. Well, this motorcycle really catches my eyes because do you know the mountain fire occurred in August in Chongqing due to extreme heat weather? So I think this kind of motorcycle, named the off-roading motorcycle, which is the only one capable of running to the peak of the mountain to deliver the needed materials. So this kind of vehicles made a great contribution to the firefighting. Well, well, mainly the products today are the vehicles, and now we have the guest from the Chongqing Jilian Electronic Corporation. Is a representative enterprise, a manufacturing enterprise. So hi, real good. Can you introduce us some basic information? So first of all, can you
we'll let Jan set up with our interviewee here. And once again, we're at the 22nd China International Fair for Investment and Trade, otherwise known as CIFIT. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, sir. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for joining the program in the lovely city of Xiamen. I'm here with my host, Vivian. And maybe Vivian, good time to maybe ask this gentleman some questions and what's going on.
Cool. Yes, I'm more than excited. Actually, seeing some of them Chongqing elements here in such a like national fair happening here. So, sir, can you please give us a short introduction about this company and what are some of those? Oh, I saw some spare parts actually. So, can you please elaborate more about what kind of business you guys are focusing on? And yeah, we would like to know more.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much. I'm Roger Zhou, just coming from Chongqing Jilian Electronic Corporation Limited. Sorry, and company has a history of over 30 years.
30 years with the company.
Yes, 30 years old, and now we are just the company belonging to the enterprise of giant. Little Giant program of China's fourth 5-year plan. So that means to say we are quite strong in this specific industrial lines. Anyhow, our manufacturers. Yes,
sir, we're just going to look at some of these parts. Can you explain to us what are we looking at?
Can you introduce us some new highlights and new products that coming to the fair this year?
Okay, it's coming that. Now you see that on this exhibition table, we just bring the components of pressure transmitter. Pressure transmitter belonging to the automatic instrumentation control. This is one kind of the product for the layer control, pressure control. So we are only the manufacturer the components for the pressure transmitters. So this is a small line belonging to the larger industries. So once we have our best supply, we are the best suppliers so far to manufacture the metabolic here, and then this is a bigger part belonging to the components of the pressure transmitters. A
Okay.
larger part, yeah, this is
I
a
have a
larger, this is the impeller, yes.
I got a question for you. So for
Yes.
me, who knows nothing about this, what are these components really used for in day-to-day life? What kind of machines are using these?
Well, it's not for the machine, it's for the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the pressure transmitter. And then
Okay.
you can thinking about that for the automatic control of the whole industry, including pressure measurement, flow measurement, level measurement, and also the actuators for the levels, positioning, and kind of things. We are only for the pressure measurement. So
Got it.
this is the product we manufacture for this.
Well,
And besides this,
yes.
let me go on. Thank you very much.
Please do. This is great. Thank you.
And we have bring the second part of the components that belong to the turbocharger. I know the turbocharger that for the gas turbochargers. For the big ship, for the big trains, and this kind of that. That's to prepare the power for the train, for the ship, and so we are also manufacturing components for the turbocharger. So this is for the impeller. It's just international level for the production, for the manufacturing. And this one is just yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you a question because you were mentioning about the international level, right? So I wonder that if some of the components has been exported internationally, because from my understanding, like some of because Chongqing is really good at manufacturing those spare parts, so probably some of them were exported to overseas market like ASEAN countries, like perhaps like Laos or Thailand or something like that. Can you please let us know if some of the spare parts, your company's spare parts has been exported overseas?
Yeah, I'm definitely sure that some of the components go to the international market, but what the people, it not go directly by our company. We just send to our components to our customer, like Yokogawa, Japan, and Chongqing Sichuan Instrument. That's the top one instrumentation supplier in China, and we also supply to hardware. And we believe that they assemble all our components as a pressure transmitter. So that is the complete unit. In that level, they can go directly to the international market for the industrial purposes for pressure control.
So would it be fair to say it's an OEM product?
I don't know. Huh?
Would it be fair to say it's a original equipment manufacturer component, something like that? And other companies can put their own brand on it?
Right now, I'm sorry, I don't understand you.
Yeah, I see that you've listed Honeywell there. Now, would Honeywell purchase from you, and would Honeywell put their own name on it?
Yeah, we're just the only Chinese review so far.
Okay, so kind of like that, yeah.
And right now, this is our first time to come here for the CIFIT. So we just want to participate this fair, to have a larger lane for ourselves and to have the opportunities to show our same level component for our exchange.
Fantastic.
And then we want to expect to let more people to work together in our products.
Well, that's great news, and I think attending this 22nd China International Fair for Investment and Trade, it's ready. to do business and bring relationships together to do business. And we wish you and your company all the prosperity in this coming year. And thank you so much for attending this fair and speaking with our journalist there on location. And thank you again. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so we're just going to put Jeanne in the backstage for the moment there, and as she walks around the show a little bit more. That's interesting, Vivian. We've just heard from, I think this is their first time that they've attended this fair, and these are pretty complex components for me. I don't really understand them that well, but the good news is that these are companies. They are trying to build relationships internationally. You asked some very pivotal questions for this gentleman, asking him, has he been exporting this product? And it looks like they're more in the build-up phase for that. But we did see some interesting names there in their pavilion. Honeywell. Let's head back to Jeanne. Is that okay if we head back to Jeanne, see what she's doing on the floor there? All right, here we go. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
No
So nice talk with Robert, and I think
Robert.
this company, Jilian Electromechanical Corporation, is a representative, important manufacturing enterprise of Chongqing. Because as far as I know, Chongqing is an important manufacturing center with its industry's advantages. So,
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so for today, we only have the new products like these kind of vehicles, and also the products represented by the company. Well,
I mean,
so,
sorry. Just don't want to jump in there a lot. Go ahead.
So now I will go to the another exhibition area of the International Consumption Center, which focuses on more international shopping, culture, and tourism. Because the Chongqing, over the years, Chongqing has made great efforts to build the International Consumption Center. And so just I mentioned specifically Chongqing has made great efforts to build 5 smart cities, which is the international shopping, food, exhibition, culture, and tourism. Well, so today at the fair, we can see.
Whoa, specialties.
We can see a lot of food products that brings Chongqing to the fair, and now the staff are also organizing the products, because today is only the previews. The fair will officially kick off tomorrow.
Now, I already recognize something in that photo there. That's the big exposition center here, not too far from our offices on the big screen television.
For example, this is the material of the hot pot, because Chongqing is so famous for its hot pot. And this is the Chongqing noodles.
Oh, for those like condiments, I think for those are really easy actually, because easy to cook, especially for me. Like I don't cook a lot, so I rely on those condiments a lot. So I remember like when I was in Canada, like I brought those like 5 packages of those like condiments on the flight with me, and then when I back to Canada, then I can cook some of the traditional food like for my kind of like a cure my homesick, and it's easy. It's really easy to cook with some of the condiments.
Yes,
it's kind of amazing to see also, understanding the logistics of Chongqing and how important Chongqing is in China. It's a mega city in southwest China. You got to understand these logistical routes. They've spread to pretty much all major ports now. Of course, we have that train that connects directly across Europe, taking laptop computers. We've got the direct line into Shanghai. We also got the importance of Singapore here. We're going to see more of this happening. This is just the beginning of Chongqing and people bringing their products to market. The most important pinnacle thing of bringing a product to market we'll call it of weight, of density. And what I mean by that is if you have computers, you have automobiles, you have motorcycles, you have food products, these can be heavy items. They're not that easy to air freight. One, for safety as well as lithium batteries. must go on probably a train to be quite safe. So this is the challenge for most countries that don't have logistical lines to set up. This is where we're seeing now the important part of this China International Fair and Investment, where these products are of quite a size. Like, I mean, imagine, building an automobile is a challenge, of course, and we're going in the EV market now, which is exploding here in Chongqing. It's all down to, I think, trade relationships, like you see here at the fair today, and logistical relationships. And that is why Chongqing is playing such a pivotal role. I'm going back to Jan at the show. Where are we now?
Yeah. Well, so that is the basic information about this Chongqing Pavilion. Just I mentioned the mainly two parts of the smart manufacturing and the international consumption center. So for the part of the international consumption center, the food section, I'd like to add a point that is this year, Chongqing takes the lead in formulating the hot pot Spiciness Standard. Do you know this standard? I think it's really interesting because it divided the hotspot spiciness into 6 levels. And the higher degree means more intense spicy feeling. So I think this standard really helps the tourists or foreigners who come to Chongqing for the first time, and maybe they have no ideas how spicy the Chongqing food is. So if you try the hot pot for the first time, you can just try from the lower level with a light taste. And once you are familiar with hot pot, maybe you like this spicy taste so much, you can try the higher level. So this is the effort, one of the examples that Chongqing has made their efforts to build the international consumption center. Well, so that is the center of this Chongqing Pavilion, and you also can see the pictures around me. Well, a lot of pictures around me that is also showing the great opening up of Chongqing from the open channel, open economy, open environment, and also the intelligent manufacturing and international consumption center, which I mentioned before. So Chongqing through this display and show, Chongqing has representative is fruitful achievements in the construction of the inland open highland, the new international land sea trade corridor, and other aspects. So
sorry. Go ahead.
Well, finally, I'd like to make a preview for all of you who are interested in the China International Fair for Investment and Trade, because this fair will officially kick off tomorrow and will last to the September 11th. So tomorrow, in the Chongqing Pavilion, Chongqing will hold 2 important meetings. In the morning, we have the opening ceremony of the Guest of Honor City, and in the afternoon, we have the Chongqing Investment and Trade Corporation Seminar to aiming to attract more enterprises and talents to settle in Chongqing.
Back to me.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about this fair? Because I just want to give you the general information about this fair. Just mentioned Vivian and me. This national exhibition in the investment is sponsored by the Ministry of Commerce. So the CIFIT has become an international investment event now with global influence after more than 20 sessions of glorious history. So this year, around high standard opening up an international investment cooperation. This year, the fair will be held from September 8 to 11. That means it will officially kick off tomorrow. So, and this year, the fair consists of 13 exhibition areas in 3 major pavilions of the investment promotion, industrial innovation, and project capital talent cooperation. So, as I mentioned before, Chongqing this time serves as the guest of honor of this 22nd CIFIT, while the South Korea as the country of honor. Well,
so I have a question, Jan. Sorry, because
okay.
you've mentioned about South Korea for several times. So I'm just as you know, someone like haven't got a chance to visit this fair. So why this year is South Korea, and did South Korean brings any interesting products to the fair, or like why we are setting up the South Korea as like one of the guest owner of country this year?
Well, actually, the pavilion of South Korea is behind me, and I think they really brings the new projects, the feature projects of the South Korea to the fair. But because today is just a preview, just I mentioned, and it's not already set up for today. So for all of you who are interested in this fair, you can just visit tomorrow, and I believe that tomorrow it will be more products, more show to present to you to know more about this fair. So finally, I just want to mention that the Chongqing over the years saw significant economic and social development. So as the guest of honor of the fair, Chongqing this time covers digital transportation, medical care, and other more intelligent applications. So I believe that this interaction between people and technology, space, environment, society will be realized through this interactive and integrated expression. So, well, in addition to this show and the forums or the seminars, a number of investment promotion teams will also be organized to conduct all-round investment and talent cooperation attraction based on Chongqing's favorable business environment and industry's advantages. So I'm really looking forward to the fair and also your discussion later between you guys, Alex and Vivian, because Chongqing is increasingly becoming a favorable ground for business and investment in recent years to attract more well-known enterprises and talents to settle in Chongqing. So, well, this is the basic situation of the China International Fair for Investment Trade. Thank you, Alex and Vivian.
No problem. I have to tell you something interesting, about this journey that you've actually been on. You've actually watched these logistical lines grow since you've started coming to iChongqing here, working with us. You've noticed that you were in Laos recently, right? You checked out I guess what was the name of what do we call that? Land, sea...
New International Land Sea Trade Corridor.
I know you know the answer to that one. So
because before we made a live stream about this topic, about this new International Land Sea Trade Corridor with Singapore and Guangxi, because this is a very strategic corridor jointly built by China and Singapore and other many countries. So aiming to reach worldwide. So I think it's very important for Chongqing because Chongqing is located in deep inland. So it's really helpful. It's really convenient for Chongqing to transport their goods, and also it's helpful to increase Chongqing's import and exports.
Fantastic. So how long are you going to be staying in there in Xiamen for? How many more days?
Well, I think yes, because this fair will last to the 11th, but I think our media group will leave tomorrow evening.
Well, fantastic. You seemed very prepared for today's show, so we greatly appreciate that. And thank you for having some wonderful guests on the show here, as well as traveling out in that area. What we're going to do, since you've been representing Xiamen today, we're going to play a little bit of a video on the area. Do you want us to come back to you, or do you want to head on into the show and let Vivi and I take over from this part?
Well, I really am looking forward to your discussion, Alex and Vivian.
Okay, because, great.
Yes, because this fair is about the China's investment and cooperation. So I think you guys will have prepared a lot about this topic. So I'm really looking forward to your discussion.
Okay, I'll keep you backstage for a little bit. We're going to play a little bit of a video here on Xiamen, and we'll come back to you. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Picturesque, tree-lined sandy beaches, tranquil atmosphere, fresh tropical climate and enchanting European architecture. With little pollution and one of China's cleanest cities, a remarkable city infrastructure, a modern CBD, and a vibrant economy, welcome to the idyllic city of Xiamen. The perfect mix of urban energy and laid-back vibes. Ample palm trees screen the island's serene beauty, and this is a picture-perfect port city in eastern China's Fujian province, a city facing Taiwan across the Taiwan Strait. As a result, Xiamen has more Taiwan investment than any other mainland city. It has become an important port for centuries, and in the 19th century was predominantly a tea port. It became one of China's earliest special economic zones, SEZ, in the 1980s, pioneering reform and becoming a symbol of China's economic success. Historically unprecedented economic boom cycle, bringing 1.4 billion people out of poverty, and the rest, as they say, is history. With record high 2021 GDP of $109 billion US dollars, comparing to 40 years ago of only 100 million, with an average yearly growth of 16.9%, Xiamen has the lowest income tax on enterprises in China. The city benefits enormously from its proximity to Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. Fishing, shipbuilding, and food processing, tanning textiles, machines and tool manufacturing, chemical industries, telecommunication, and financial services buoy its diverse and well-developed economy. With blooming creative industries, Xiamen's become a heartland for fashionable young Chinese. No wonder its population quadrupled to over 4 million people. The old industrial port area has totally transformed into a chic, trendy place that has become a must-visit for tourists. Pristine suburbs, modern infrastructure, clear waters, long and wide sandy beaches make this a destination on its own. On to infrastructure. A causeway was built in 1956, linking the island to the mainland, and a railway line. There we go. What a beautiful city. What a beautiful city. So nice to watch that video again. Whew, brings back some memories. Okay, Vivian, I think you're ready. You
yes,
have lots to talk about. Let's go.
Definitely a nice video about Xiamen. I have never been to Xiamen actually, but I think I will find a chance because, you know, look at those landscapes. It's gorgeous. Yeah, I just would like to add up some of the Jan's points about, you know, like seeing some of the latest products and, you know, things happening here at this fair. I would like to raise one thing, which a lot of people do not know, that China is actually expanding and opening up its service industry. And it's interesting because I've read so many news worldwide accusing China, you know, because it kind of like due to the epidemic prevention and control, it has closed some of the stores, shops, and limited hours of the opening up the stores. But actually, despite the pandemic situation happen worldwide, China's service trade has also become a bright spot in the global arena. So I have a data I would like to share with you guys. As of 2021, China's service trade has been ranked the second in the world for the 8 consecutive years. And the number of countries and the regions have this kind of like the service trade links with China has raised into the number like reaching 200. So as we can see that China has never stopped, you know, boosting up its service industry and trying out different categories. As Jan's mentioned about the consumption things, basically, having the policies set up or having the scenarios set up for more people to consume and buy things. And there's also like a little policy about the service industry here in Chongqing, because Chongqing is one of the 5 provincial level regions in China, and the only one here in the central and western China, which has been added to the comprehensive pilot program for service sector opening up. It has been focusing on the building inland modern service industries, like such as logistics and customs clearance, and also like medical fields, even like biomedical fields, and also some of the high-tech things. So Alex, I would like to know that, because you've mentioned about some of the logistics happening here in Chongqing, and do you know like have you tried any like international airlines here in Chongqing? You know, going from one place to another.
Well, I do have a bit of a story to tell about that. Visiting the fabulous airports here in Chongqing, and for the viewers that don't know, they are building another terminal on top of that. Investment continues into the region. Now, we're talking state-of-the-art equipment here. For example, when you arrive at the airport here in Chongqing, you can actually monitor your bags being sorted below on a video camera. Now, what I want to get to, the question is international hubs and the connection to Chongqing. One of the reasons I came here is few of these airlines started to connect to this city. And I've always said it's one of the largest cities in the world, but pretty much unknown to the Western audience. Before I left Chongqing back to Thailand, I did visit the international airport, and there's two parts. There's domestic, and then there's the international. Now, normally at your domestic airports, you'll see one frame or one TV screen will show you the domestic flights, and then the other 8 to 10 monitors are international. But it was actually the opposite here. And it was because, of course, China has 1.5 billion people, but there were so many flights connected to Chongqing that the international market, I'll call it, was now, or we'll say is in the process of actually expanding in a colossal amount. Now, I was told that, yes, Alex, there are cities that are bidding to try to get direct flights to Chongqing. Isn't that amazing? We're in 2022 now, and sites are still bidding or will soon connect to an amazing city like this. This city is going to be discovered, and it's going to be discovered because of the hubs that are being set up, the investment that are being set up, the runways, the logistical angles, the high-speed rail links that are being massive investment in the country here. But this Chongqing, I cannot express to you the importance of, once it connects to the international market, the flight choices are going to be astronomical, because it could be, or what I'm thinking, could be a major hub, just like Shanghai acts as a major hub to get into China, just like Beijing acts as a hub to get into China. Imagine people getting on the airplanes, San Francisco, Seattle, the West Coast of the United States, and they're all landing in Chongqing. And they're saying, wait a minute, let's stick around this city for a bit and see what's going on here. It's a mega city and it's got impressive infrastructure. Well, that is the equation to basically putting a city like Chongqing on the map for good. And that's my, I guess, coverage, if you want to ask me, on do I feel the international markets are connecting to these airports? Yes, but we're only in the beginning. You guys, I have to tell you this, that in 2019, when I went back to that airport, or pardon me, it was 2020, just after New Year's, they were just setting up all these new terminals, just taking the plastic off all these airline places to check you in for baggage. And I was even making a joke with my wife. I said, look at that. There's a help center for international guests, and there's no lineup. So yeah, that's a point I wanted to really make to you guys from an international standpoint, that this city is just at the beginning of something big.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Sorry, I'm just adding up some points from Alex, because actually for the Chongqing Jiangbei International Airport, it keeps adding new roads, and one of them will be like India's airlines. So as far as I know, that recently it has opened the new two new roads to India, like to different place of India, and now it reaches a total of 108 roads with access to 35 countries and 80 cities, and that's all available here in Chongqing Jiangbei Airport. And some of the exported goods to India mainly consist of electronic products. Everybody knows that we have like really good electronic products made here in Chongqing, and also some of the mechanical manufacturing products such as laptops, mechanic parts, as well as aluminum coils. So it can be seen that despite the COVID-19 pandemic, but the international air cargo and the mail throughput reached nearly 8,000 tons from this January to April, and with the year-on-year growth of the 26%. So it's like a magic, like despite the COVID-19 pandemic happening all over the world, and not to mention that what's going on here in the world economy and about the world logistics, a lot of countries also, because of the pandemic, kind of like close their doors and kind of like encourage the cross-border trade and investment. So I was just would like to ask Zhang about that. So I know that you've been to Spain, right? So when you were in Spain, can you please compare a little bit like how was the logistics in Spain, and how was what it looks like here in Chongqing, or even like southwestern China here? Yep.
Well, I came back from Spain to China just 2 years ago because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I just totally agree with you, Vivian, about the point of COVID-19, because I think Chongqing it's not easy for Chongqing to make such achievements in the logistics under the COVID-19 pandemic and the grim economic situation at home and abroad. So when I explain, I think the logistics is not as quickly as China, but it also has the own e-commerce platforms that we also can buy some food during the pandemic. So I think under the COVID-19 pandemic, it's not easy for some regions to achieve the economic development, and also for the fair, just like this, the 22nd China International Fair for Investment Trade. It's not easy to invite all the guests to here to discover the product and show, and to discuss the new opportunities of the global investment. So I just want to add is that this fair is around the great opening up of the China and International Investment Corporation. And in case of Chongqing, so we can see before that just a serious product are represented, but mainly are the vehicles, because Chongqing is considered as an important vehicle manufacturing base with its industry's advantages. For example, the concept of ICV, the intelligent connected vehicle, I think most of you must be heard. So in Chongqing, the Western Chongqing Science City has taken steps to develop this ICV sector with cutting-edge technologies. So for the fair, we have these products are developed and produced by well-known car enterprises like Qualcomm, Cirrus, Chang'an, and also the telecommunication giant company like Huawei is also plans to develop the car industry. So I think all these examples show that the great potential of China to expand this service industry.
So back to Alex.
Thank you. Oh, tons of questions on the with this kind of situation here. I mean, once again, we've been colleagues here at work for, well, I've been here about a year now, and I can just tell you every single month, some big announcement happens, including Chongqing, whether it's a new train line, whether it's a high-speed rail line, whether it's a T3B, I think it's called, T3B, a new terminal at the Jiangbei Airport there. I mean, what is next in store here? We just went through the Smart China Expo. Can you imagine what's going to happen with this country once it fully opens? Of course, the logistical routes have done very well here in Chongqing from the shipping and whether it's domestic and international. But can you imagine what's going to happen to these consumption markets, the hotel markets, the restaurant markets, the tourism markets, the shopping malls? I mean, we're in a city that has 60 scheduled new shopping malls. And right out those doors behind me there is a multi-million dollar investment with 3 shopping malls from 3 major players here to expand more on that. In fact, as China continues to gear up, we are seeing more and more investment come along the Chongqing route. And the beautiful thing is that's going to be expanded not only in the consumption, but we're looking at, of course, infrastructure, whether it's local infrastructure, like we call them sky trains, but you guys call them monorails here, and as well as now the EV market is really heating up here. But you see, here's where I think Chongqing and China has really put their head down and got busy the last couple of years, because let's face it, the international market has been concerned about their own issues. Electricity bills, I think if you live in Europe right now, is definitely something that you need to keep in mind. My mother is actually saying, when is her electricity heating and gas bill combined, when are those 2 bills going to outdo her pension? And it's that close. But having said that, is for these last 3 years that China has been dealing with the pandemic, they have continued to invest in these channels, and this will, bring the country to prosperity. And I've got a question for both of you ladies here on the panel. How much do you think, or how ready are we if this market opens in the next, let's say, 3 to 6 months? Do you feel that Chongqing is very well prepared for the international market? I pose that question to any of you that want to take it.
I think yeah, Jen can go first.
Chongqing has great potential because it's the only municipality in Western China, and in recent years we can see many well-known foreign enterprises or talents to settle in Chongqing. For example, the Singapore enterprise, the Raffles, to build the shopping mall and to further facilitate customers to also to build the international consumption center. So I don't know, Alex, as you are the foreigner who lives in Chongqing, have you noticed that Chongqing has made this great contribution to this investment to attract more foreigners or enterprises to settle in Chongqing?
That's a good question. A lot of people ask me that, and similar style questions. Is Chongqing ready for this? I think that Chongqing needs to be more brave, more confident on the product that it has. Can it compete against major cities in the world? Now, I'll give you an example. I had a friend of mine say to me, "Oh, New York is, the greatest city in the world." I get that. I've been to New York. It's fun. I'm not going to discredit that. But when you're looking at the future and you're, let's say, in your mid-50s or maybe in retirement age, or let's say you've had some success earlier on in the 40s, and you're looking at a destination where maybe you want to kind of work from home, or maybe you want to have a different business, an import-export business or something like that. Here's where Chongqing blows most cities off the map, okay? And let's look at the cost of living here. I've done a comparison. I've done a one-on-one comparison to luxury markets. Luxury market New York, luxury market Chongqing. Now, most people say, "Oh, but Chongqing's not in New York." sorry, but New York is not Chongqing. Okay, it doesn't have some of the amazing infrastructures. Also, there's other competing factors here. The rent bills. I would say the cost of living here, especially in regards to living standards, I would say, and I can compare this because I live here as a foreigner, I would say are 75 to 80% less for if you're renting. That's number one. Communications, 5G markets. A lot of the markets in the America don't even have 5G, or they're ripping out the old 5G and going back to 4G for political reasons. Okay, to move forward on food, I'll give you an example. I recently stayed at the Niccolo Hotel, which is a high-end hotel. We're talking consumption market here for hotels. There's some big players here. There's the Marriotts, there's the Hyatts, there's the Raffle Cities, of course, the Niccolos, the Regent hotels. These are high-end hotels. Now, normally, if you want to book a night for the Regent or something like Niccolo Standards or the St. Regis Standards for that in New York, that's going to cost you a cool $600 to $1,000 a night. Here, including breakfast last weekend at the Niccolo Hotel with a beautiful view of Yuzhong area, we'll call it the skyline, $159 US all in. Now, if that doesn't attract people to come to the city, I'm not sure what will, because some people do take it as the first step to go to cities to make sure that there's a brand that they can recognize. And Chongqing not only has invited international brands to help support that, but they also have the infrastructure ready to accommodate it. It's also a city that is quite safe. I would say very safe. Living here a year, very safe. Getting around infrastructure-wise, shopping mall-wise, restaurant-wise, it has all the apps of just everything you can imagine. The only thing that I think that China needs, or Chongqing, if they want to welcome international guests, is there needs to be a first point of entry when you get to the airport that international guests can either A, be supported to download apps that are important here, like WeChat. When an international plane disembarks and 300 or 400 new people come into the country, there should be a desk there that A, supports them in getting a SIM card and helps them upload the WeChat app to show that it can use translation, as well as it would be nice if they had a top-up method. And for the viewers, what I mean by that top-up method is, got to remember, China has kind of evolved past cash, okay, and they've moved on to electronic payments here, or we'll call it, you guys can tell me about it in a minute, but most things are purchased using WeChat Pay or Alipay or something like that. Now, as a foreigner, to get that set up instantly is difficult, so you'll be dealing with cash. So that is the only thing that I can find that China really, really needs, or Chongqing, the ambassadors at the airport, when they're welcoming guests into this fabulous city, is that something that they could really, really work on, because that would make things a lot easier. Anyway, over to you, lady.
Yes, Alex has covered like a lot of things, like a lot of areas. And basically some of the areas like I would like to mention in my part. But anyways, I'm just gonna add up some of the additional information for some of our overseas readership who do not know. We actually have a lot of international services actually provided here in Chongqing. And for example, medical service, because we are reporters, right? And we interview different people from different area. There was one time I got a chance to interview the Sino-Singapore Cancer Center, which is located in the Yongchuan district of Chongqing. They aim to pay attention to every detail of patients' comfort. And it's interesting about this hospital. It's kind of like break our traditional notion about how hospital look like and what kind of services it will offer. So for this kind of hospital, they enable the patients to enjoy a more humanized, like high quality hotel style international medical service. So it's something interesting because this hospital was actually built in collaboration with the Yongchuan People's Hospital, as well as a Singapore enterprises called the TalkMed. So the TalkMed group is actually a premier provider for the healthcare service in medical oncology, and it actually have this healthcare services provided for the oncology patients based in Singapore. But now, not only that Chongqing residents can enjoy such international services, but also some of the foreigners actually here living in Chongqing, like Alex, perhaps can, some of the foreigners to enjoy the medical services. So I think having this is, always like an alternative for our foreigners living here in Chongqing. I'm going to describe what it looks like in a word, equipped with like a beautiful carpet, comfortable sofa, and big television, and also like a spacious bathroom. It basically every detail is actually offered for our patients to believe that they live in a really comfortable environment, and some of their diseases can be cured immediately. Having some of like this comfortable environment, it actually make people feel more warm, and also not mention that some of the high-tech equipment they have in this hospital, like here's one called a piece of professional high-tech equipment called the PET, which stands for the positron emission tomography, which may detect the early onset of disease before other imaging tests can. So also for this kind of concept, like global concept of the cancer screening test, which can help find cancer at an early stage before symptoms appear. So say when abnormal tissue or cancer is found earlier, it may be easier to treat or cure, because by the time the symptoms appear, it can be, cancer may have grown or spread, which can make cancer harder to treat or cure. So having those kind of, global curing concept inserted into people's mind, I think it's also a part of how Chongqing has been boosting up its service industry. Just learning from some of the global standards, such as the cancer screening, early cancer screening, because as far as I know, that it's not something like prevalent here in China. Like my grandma probably don't know that we can do a quick cancer screening in order to have this kind of like the safe and more effective way to make people more healthier. So Alex.
Yeah, I want to jump in on this because this is a very interesting point that I think a lot of the international market is, well, they ignore it until it becomes a major problem. Okay. And Vivian, let me just give you an example. As a Canadian, we do have a taxpayer paid based medical system. Now, people say it's free, but it's actually not. You pay a fortune for it out of your taxes. In America, of course, to get medical insurance, you got to take a few things into consideration. One of them is if you've had a problem with a certain part of your body, it might not be covered by your insurance. The cost of the insurance is very expensive. The cost of medical care is expensive. Now, there's no denying that the United States has great medical facilities if you can afford them. They're amazing. But when it comes to healthcare, recently my experience in Thailand taught me something. And it taught me that the medical system there is done in a more proactive way, where it's instead of a reactive, they basically say, okay, come in once or twice a year for a medical examination. And they go looking early. If they can't find anything, we call that a clean bill of health in the West. We call it a clean bill of health. But they are proactive and they're trying to find things. Of course, when you go to the hospital, you want to make sure that you get these tests, everything's done and everything's fine. So in the other markets, we'll call it the foreign markets, you can't really walk into and get this, you guys won't believe this. You can't walk into a Canadian medical facility, because they're all government run, and say, hey, I just want a health check. And they'll say, well, what do you mean? What's wrong with you? I don't know. I just want to feel that my body is checked for cancer, like an X-ray, maybe an MRI, maybe a CT scan. And that's the thing that I learned when I came to China. I took a full medical, and it was I think $75 for a full medical. Now, try to do that in the United States or Canada. Not happening. It just won't happen. I don't know why. But it would prevent or at least identify maybe early stage cancer, early stage and other diseases that give people a chance to prolong their life. Now, having said that, in Thailand is actually a very interesting model that I think China could probably, and they probably already are learning from them, where it's, what you just described to me, the facility about where you go, how they make you feel at home there, the tests that they can do, finding, you kind of go on a search engine. All of us have done that. All of us have gone on Google or Baidu and, put our symptoms in there, and all arrows lead to very bad endings. So it's best that you can go to a facility, private or public. I'm not sure really how the system works here, but even privately, they are affordable, especially in a lot of these Southeast Asian countries. And that's one of the key reasons why I'm bringing my mother to move over here, is because of medical care. Can you imagine an 80-year-old lady being told that she has to wait 5 months for an MRI because her back hurts? Now, of course, maybe it's just a pulled muscle or something like that. First of all, that's agony to have it at that age. Second is that mental health that's causing that person, the worry. They're not sure what it is. What have they got? Is it cancer related? Who knows? But 5 months. And that happens to medical systems that aren't properly managed, run down. And this is the amazing thing here on what you're talking about. This market, I think, well, it's one of the biggest market for Canadian taxpayer. It's the number one thing on their budget is healthcare, but it falls short. So this could be another area, Vivian, that you have once again brought to these viewers that it could be absolutely amazing. I'm reading some of these here, some of these comments on the side here. Here's one from Ken. Have a look at this. And this is true, guys. Have a look at this figure. He said, I paid about $2,000 a month on Obamacare and had spent $10,000 deductible. $10,000 deductible. He held off on critical surgeries till he got on Medicare when he turned 65. That comment right there says it all. First, how can somebody even afford $10,000 deductible? Can you imagine that? Oh, you hurt your arm or you might need surgery. If you can't afford it, you're in a land of just broken people. And here's Nicole Wilson's has made a comment here. She says, Medicare is a problem too. It covers only so much. You will oftentimes need a secondary insurance to cover the costs. So first insurance, second insurance. I mean, these are life-changing things for people. And for me to actually try to explain to my Chinese audience here and my friends here, maybe you guys were you guys aware of this? Vivian and Jen, were you aware of these things?
Yeah, I've heard about that. Even when I was in Canada, I know that there's really a high amount of fee for medical care. But just compare of what kind of things we enjoy here. For each iChongqing's employee, we got free check once a year for our having a free body check. Just they will test the everything basics, and just to make sure that you are safe. And as an employee working here, you enjoy those benefits. So I think having something like that is really sweet, and also make people feel calm. And yes, and it's all free. Company will pay the basic fee for you. So just some basic check, it will be all free. So it's really good. And back to
Jean, when you were in Spain, I mean, traveling around, did you have extra insurance? Were you concerned about medical care when you were there, or?
Well, I think the medical care in Spain is similar with the case of Canada, just to mention Vivian, because we have paid the hospital will cover the majority of the medical process. And so, as you guys talked about the medical care, just remind me a fresh new product presented to this fair. Um, so in addition to the vehicles show, we have also the medical care. Just is also one of the most important aspects that covers Chongqing's pavilion this year. And this year, Chongqing brings the world's first fully automated capsule robot called the RC100, which realizes automation, intelligence, information, and other medical care. So to my knowledge, this product effectively solves the problems like the low image quality or the fault diagnosis to further facilitate patients. So marking the capsule medical technology into the intelligent robots area. So just as mentioned, Vivian, before the hospital, which jointly cooperated by China and Singapore, we just have seen many cooperation projects in over the years between China, Singapore, and other countries. So I think in the future, Chongqing's potential will fully released with the series of paralysis and its industry's advantages.
Yes. Yes, I think it's good to hear that, because if you have to attract foreigners living in one area or even one city, there must be medical things have been equipped, and also for some of even like education for your children, and also like some of the living expenses that Alex just mentioned. Chongqing is definitely a best place to live in, because we also have like international education here, and some of the education courses are designed for kids of the foreigners. So they have all those like international curriculums offered for their kids, and just having this multi-dimensional courses and learning materials for them to grow, and having this cultural diversity environment, learning the Chinese culture, but at the same time to learning the Western culture here in Chongqing. I think it's amazing. And yes, I would like to ask Alex, actually. Alex, are you here? Maybe yes, maybe he's not here for a moment, but yes, but I will. And so for now, I will also mention about some of the biomedical fields here in Chongqing, because in addition to the services like what we mentioned about the we mentioned about medical services, we've mentioned about some of the manufacturing services, and also some of the consumption services, logistics services. There's also one area service that I would like to mention is about the biomedical R&D, where Chongqing will carry out a pilot import of the biomedical research and development supplies throughout the region within 2 years from the announcement. So because as everybody knows that it is necessary to import various items to meet the needs of the drug R&D during the clinical trial process or biomedical R&D, and have this in-depth cooperation with large global multinational pharmaceutical enterprises. I think Chongqing's next target would be to attract more investment and expand the scale of biopharmaceutical industry here in Chongqing. And yes, and that's something like worth to mention, because pharmaceutical drugs, like all those things are important. It's also like something can change people's life, and having all those R&D services, and also those research setting up to expand its biomedical services, I think it's also one advantages that Chongqing has, and for reaching its future goal to be more opening up in terms of its offering like services and facilities, etc. Back to you, Alex.
Well, there are so many sectors that we could talk about that are impacting people's lives. I mean, can you imagine the political issues here, and I know that we had a discussion about this before in some of our recent live streams, and of course of administrations around the world making decisions for its civilians that live in that country. If you're European, over the next few months, there are going to be some choices that you have to make. One of them is, do you stay warm? Can you operate your business? Can you operate a business that is in the consumption? For example, hotels, restaurants, pubs, bars. Right now, the statistics that are being tossed around here with the numbers in the United Kingdom here, with the explosion of the price of gas and the price of goods, I mean, there's no end to the cost. And I think that maybe I'm a bit premature to bring this into the conversation, but these are obstacles where China has managed to pivot around the problem. Okay, health care. We've talked about it. No problem. Sorted. Done. Even on an international market, China can actually welcome people and keep them safe and help them live their life longer. Logistics. Investments there. No, the world maybe stopped investing in infrastructure. China didn't. Chongqing didn't. They kept going. They persevered forward. And that's the spirit of the people of Chongqing. We have been dealt with a few issues a few weeks ago. COVID-19, small outbreak, citywide testing, state-of-the-art technology, contact tracing apps. Seems to be going okay. Problem not completely solved, but working on it. Number 2, a heat wave. What do? The city implements a energy-saving format where they can conserve energy. Okay, no flashy lights this weekend, guys, because we got to conserve some energy. Keep the shopping malls closed a little bit later in the day and only open them up in the evenings when it's cooler. Have the escalators allowing to go up, but on the way down, let's shut those off to conserve some energy. Some manufacturing plants, car plants, actually stopped production for a week. And we had a drought, forest fires. China looks like it can handle just about any challenge brought its way. 3 days ago, what did we have? A 5.8 or 6.8? I can't remember what it was. Earthquake just a few days ago here. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is a city. If there's a city that gets tested for its perseverance, it's Chongqing. Vivian, over to you. I think we have. Do we have some more topics to talk about? Are we there?
I think we are almost here because, like, I feel like I was going to talk about the benefits for multinational companies to invest in China or Chongqing. That's a huge topic, actually, and I would like to leave it for our next live stream so I can have a thorough discussion about what are the reasons that you have to invest in China and Chongqing, and not to mention about its growing industries, its growing GDP and economic performance, and remain the second worldwide in terms of its in-service industry and a lot of other sectors. So I will leave it for our next live stream, I guess.
Great. And I just want to say a big thank you to Xiamen in Xiamen. I think I pronounced that right. Thank you so much for speaking and telling our guests. You were very, very well prepared for this live stream today, and I greatly appreciate your participating in that. Sometimes these things can be very tricky, but wow, amazing contribution from you today. So a big thank you from the audience here and our viewers. So we're going to say goodbye to you in Xiamen. You can give us a nice wave goodbye there, and Vivi and I will close down the show. What a treat and pleasure. If you want to follow some of Zhan's stories, they're available at iChongqing.info. She can find us or our website, or through other social media posts. We are also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, of course, YouTube as well. Keep an eye on her work. If you see it, leave a comment. Yes, I look forward to having a live stream with you. So we're going to say goodbye to Xiamen now. See you later. Enjoy your time at the 22nd China International Fair and Investment and Trade. And Vivian and I are going to chat for a moment and say goodbye to our audience. Thank you very much again. Once again, Vivian, it's always a pleasure to co-host with you here in our fantastic office here in Chongqing. Anything else for our viewers that you have last requests or anything like that?
Last request.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, thanks, Alex, for inviting me again for this live stream. And it's always good to having somebody on site, telling the story in another angle, So yes, I think for future stories, please remember to follow our social media accounts. And as I said, that we cover a lot of different aspects of the stories from Chongqing, like many things, like little things, like Chongqing people's daily lives, how they spend their time here in Chongqing. What are some interesting things going on in Chongqing? And also to like Chongqing's foreign trade, how the foreign trade look like, what are some latest data, what are the latest policies for our foreigners to actually settle down in Chongqing. We cover stories from different parts. So please stay tuned with some of our stories, and we will bring you the latest.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us here on YouTube. Wow, nice turnout today on YouTube, guys. Thank you very much. Looks like we got the time zone right this time. Anyway, once again, here from the wonderful, magnificent offices here in Chongqing, China, from the iChongqing team, we wish you guys a very pleasant day, evening, or whatever time it is around the world there. Thanks for watching. Take care.